round 9, we're going to start adding the leaves, or we are going to add the leaves. And again, very similar to how you've worked before, adding stitches onto stems in not just this, but leaf trellis, if you've worked that as well. But again, what you might just need some pointer is where to start the stitches. We actually start at the top of a picot here in the rose round, and we're always working to the left, remember, so we're moving to start on that stem that sort of reaches up and almost touches the picot. So we move onto that one, and sort of once you're underway with one, it becomes much easier to work out where you're going next. So it's just that first bit. We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at one sort of section of leaf, or so 3 leaves really, and we'll have a look at those, see how they work, and then hopefully you'll be okay to do the whole lot. Right, we're going to start at the sort of due north point, if you like, so into the picot that sits at the top of your design, your flower. And all I'm going to do is put my hook straight through the centre of that picot. There's a little hole there, straight through the centre, and pull up a loop because we're just securing the yarn in here. Okay, and we'll pull another loop through the loop that we've pulled up. This is not our first stitch, this is just securing the yarn. We'll go back in to where we've secured the yarn and make a double crochet, and that in fact is our first stitch. So if I put the flower down on the table and just sort of unfurl those stems a little bit, we're working to the left. So the first stem that we're going to work into is this one here, and if it was straight, unnaturally so, or pinned, you can see it's very close to where our hook is now, so it sort of makes sense that that's where we're going next. And we're going to go into the very top. So remember when we've worked along stems before and we've gone around the top into that sort of horizontal stitch, we've usually put our 3 double crochet in there to bring us around the top. That's where we're going to go, but we're going to just put 2 double crochet in there at this time. So I'm just going to find that little single strand, use my hook to sort of find it. Come on, doesn't want to open. There we go. So 2 double crochet into there, and now we're attached and we're underway. So now it starts to look very similar to what you've done before with these petals, in that we're going to work down this stem and create our curved petal by working from small short stitches up to larger stitches. All right, so we'll start then with 1/2 treble, and again working UK terminology, 1 treble. My yarn has literally bounced out the door. And I think we do 2 treble into the next one. One treble into the next one. So these leaves are sort of longer. 1/2 treble. One double, and we're going to slip stitch into this next stitch here. Okay, so we've made that first half leaf, which will be this one here. You can see it's starting to come together, isn't it? Starting to come together, come to life. And we're now going to make this one here, which is a full leaf. And it should be sort of fairly familiar to you once we get going. But before we get there, we're just going to catch in our next little petal, this blue petal. And we're going to do that by putting our hook through the top of this picot and actually straight through the centre, that little hole where we made all of the stems. And if you remember, we did say we were going to take care of that and cover that up. And here that is all done. So now that is getting much more secure, and we will neaten it all up as we go. Right, so we're working now along the remaining side, that sort of foundation edge of the stem. You should be familiar with this because we've done it before. So this is where there's only one strand of yarn to work into rather than the 2 legs of a stitch, if you recall. So we're just going to build up our stitches along the edge as we did here. We start with a slip stitch, go into a double crochet and a half treble and a treble, and 2 treble, one treble, half treble, excuse me a moment, the cat, helpful, half treble, and now we've got 3 double crochet going across the top. Again, this is probably super familiar to you, so hopefully that rude interruption won't impact things too much for you. And we'll turn and come down the other side, reversing that order. All right, so we're now going to put another double crochet into that little picot and through the hole at the centre of the stem. So just as we've begun, we'll finish in the same way. All right, so let's stop and look now. It's just sort of like a bit squashed, isn't it? There we go. Oh, see, it's starting to look lovely. It's starting to come to life. Let's have a look at the pretty one. All right, you can sort of see, can't you? We've made this, and now we're going to go and do the same again that we had here, but do it in reverse. All right, so I'm just going to finish that third one, and we'll have a little look at it. Okay, we're going to work up this last stem of this group in the same way, so just building up the leaf as we've done before, and so it should start to feel a bit more comfortable, a bit more familiar now. So off we go. We're going to skip that first loop there. Do pull that stem out a little so you're skipping the correct one. Skip, then a slip stitch, and then straight into that hopefully sort of familiar pattern now. So going up through the shortest to the tallest stitches for your leaf. All right, so I'm now at the top, and I'm going to put 2 double crochet into the skip or the little stitch at the top to take us around the top of the leaf. 1 and 2, and again, if I stop there, you'll see we've got our first group of 3 leaves, or 1 full leaf and 2 half leaves completed. And you'll also see where that's ended up, we're right onto a picot again, and if I turn the whole thing like so, you will see we're back to where we started, aren't we? Okay, so that was your repeat. So hopefully we've gone through everything you'll need to go through to create leaves on each of these stems all the way around your work. We start at a pink picot and we're always working to the left, and those leaves and the stitches do kind of end up where, you know, pointing to where you're going to need to go next. All right, but if you're not sure, rewind and go through that again, but I'm hoping that will help clear things up so you can see what you're working first. And I think once you're underway with 1 leaf, everything else kind of follows quite naturally. So hopefully that's okay. Let's get to the end of this and just see what it looks like completed. Okay, so I've completed it now. I've completed all of round 9. We've still got some curls on the leaves, but don't worry because we will be attaching them to the frame and then blocking, and they will lay nice and flat and end up looking like this. So it's a slow and steady round is round 9. Make sure you keep your eye out for skipped stitches and slip stitches. Those are the two things that are most likely to trip you up and put your counts out on the leaf. So look out, like I said, read the pattern really carefully, look out for skipped stitches and look out for slip stitches. Now before we leave round 9, we're just going to use some stitch markers to mark the tips of these leaves, because that's going to help us when we join to the frame in the next stage. And all I'm going to do is mark the centre stitch on each of these full leaves, just as we did before. Whoops. Centre stitch, and it just is going to help you quickly and easily see where you need to be placing your hook when you're joining. All right, there they are, all marked up and ready to go, so we can say goodbye to round 9 now. Here comes the cat. Could you not? Come on, please. Come on. Oh, the cat's kissed the camera. Come on. Go and sit over there. Go on. And at the same time into space. Oh, okay, I've done that wrong. Cat!